Okay, here we are. It is the end of Monday Night Football. We had so much fun with it. I'm here with the legend himself, Zach Spence, to go over episode 13 of the Big Boys podcast and do a little bit of check-in. We're about past halfway through the regular season now for the fantasy season, and we're gonna circle back on these power rankings. How's it going, Zach?
Good man, how are you?
I am fantastic. So the way this is basically going to work is Zach and I both have our own individual power rankings. I'll share one of them, and then Zach can kind of react to that. We'll talk a little bit about that team for a second, and then just kind of see basically where we agree. If he agrees with my ranking, if it's too high, too low, whatever. Just have some fun with it. But we'll both get into our rankings here. Sound like a plan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so on the screen here, over here to the left, I left a copy of the previous power rankings. So when I did the trimester check-in for the regular season, this is where everybody was ranked previously. And basically, we've added an additional 4 games to the regular season. Now we've got some more results, some more data points. And so now I've kind of re-ranked everybody. So let's get to it. Starting off with number 12 for me, I still have Johnny coming in at number 12. So his record's moved from 0 to 4, 0 and 4 up to 1 and 7 here. So he did pick up a win here, but he's still coming in at 12 for me. Um, for Johnny, the comments that I would have is I still feel like he's in a pretty rough spot. If anything, we're further along in the season at this point, and our main criteria, or at least my main criteria for the rankings, was essentially who is the biggest threat, or what are the rankings threat-wise to win the title. At 1 and 7, I'm pretty sure I think he's actually mathematically eliminated. So even if he did have like a super strong roster that's just been underachieving, at this point he's done. It just can't happen. Unfortunately, he's had some rough luck on the season. The best case for his roster right now, like, don't get me wrong, he could potentially like win a game, any given week, just like anybody could. But just in terms of a threat to the actual winning the title this season, at 1 and 7, I couldn't move him any higher, and this is where I'm at. I will, however, give him credit as much crap as everybody, primarily myself, gave him for the trades that he made. I mean, if we had the time machine or whatever, if we're going back, you really can't say that he lost those trades. The Christian, basically everybody involved in those trades have pretty much gotten hurt, and somehow I think because of that he's got the slight edge. So I'll give him some partial credit for that. It kind of worked out strangely enough, but yeah, I've got him coming in at number 12. What do you think, Zach?
No, yeah, I'm 100% agree with that one. I don't say you can rank him number 12 when he's 1 and 7, and we're going just based off the criteria of who can challenge to win the title.
Yeah,
But yeah, his team, yeah, I mean, I told him I apologize for my I gave him, but yeah, his trades haven't looked too bad. Overall, though, his team looks very sketch going forward. He's got like no bench whatsoever, but I mean, yeah, I guess the trades didn't weren't as bad as we all initially thought. So, but definitely number 12.
for sure. He was your 12 as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving up to my number 11. This was a drop from just a one spot, from 10 down to 11 here. I've got Aaron coming in at 3 and 5. For Aaron, I just think it really kind of comes down to just like this isn't his year. I know he made the playoffs last year. I believe he got third, so he had a solid season last year. But again, this just hasn't been his year. He had a rough quarterback situation kind of entering the draft where he needed to make some replacements, had some turnover there, and he did draft Zach Wilson, who I do think can still be a good player, but he's definitely not having a good fantasy season as a rookie, which not very many rookies do. So you can't blame that too much, but just hasn't gotten the production that he's needed to be competitive in that specific spot. Dalvin Cook is definitely kind of having an off year as well. He's getting a little bit older. I think he could still potentially put up numbers down the stretch, but just as it sits right now, I have him dropping one spot to 11th place.
Yeah, I also got him at 11, which is strange because when you see his actual team, he's got a lot of solid players like Cooper Cup setting records right now.
Hmm.
In the NFL, Dalvin Cook, solid running back. He's been hurt a little bit, but I mean, even got like Marquise Brown. I think he's a top 10 wide receiver this year. AJ Brown. He's really weak on quarterbacks, and I think that's what's hurting him because quarterback is definitely the premium position of the league. They score the most points, and he's running with Zach Wilson and Derek Carr. So I also have him ranked at number 11 as well. But I mean, he's got some interesting trade pieces. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to trade someone away. But yeah, it's looking rough this year, especially with Edwards going down as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you at 11.
Yeah, that it's interesting. You brought up the roster, and I'm right there with you as well, right? If you're Aaron, do you believe in Marquise Brown? Do you potentially try to maybe sell high? He has been Lamar Jackson's like number one target, and honestly, like overachieving. But he's been fantastic. I think he's like a top 6 or 7 wide receiver on the season, just in terms of sheer points. Cooper Cup, of course, is just like insane. He is a little bit older, right? Are those types of pieces that Aaron currently sitting in 11th place, does he potentially like make some moves, cash out, potentially trade those to contenders for a boatload of picks or other younger players or something? Uh, some interesting
Yeah,
things that Aaron could do.
if I'm him, I'm definitely looking to trade Cup. I mean,
Hmm.
he's putting just see what you can get from. See if you can get a young QB, just someone else. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm pretty big on Marquise Brown, but they also have Bateman there now too. But I see what I can get for these guys because
Yeah.
you need a quarterback in this league. I mean, really, you need two quarterbacks in this league. But he's rocking with Zach Wilson and Derek Carr and nobody else. So if
Hmm.
I'm him, I'm trying to see if I can get a quarterback. Definitely.
Quarterback or maybe some additional draft picks to get more shots at extra quarterbacks in future years drafts and stuff. So yeah, for sure, for sure. Moving on to number 10 for me, and this one hurt me, right? This was a large drop. I think maybe the biggest drop on my rankings here. I've got Johan in at number 10, down from number 7 last time. Um, I guess the percentage wise of his record has kind of improved. He was 1-3. Um, and the reason he was 7 before was he was just, and this is still the case, just extremely unlucky. The points against, I'm pretty sure he is leading that by a wide margin. Everyone just seems to have their best possible week going up against Johan. Is just kind of the season from hell. That being said, the reason I had him at 7 last time was just kind of based off of that tiebreaker. Remember, our tiebreaker for 6th place is just of the bottom 7 teams who has the highest points for, to just kind of make sure that the team that gets into that last playoff spot like truly deserves it there. And even when Johan was at 7th place and 1-3, he had a lot of points scored. And so I was saying like he could easily threaten for that 6th seed. The reason I've got him at number 10, even though that's still the case for him, he still does have a lot of points scored and his record has improved. He just lost Derrick Henry, and that's just really, really, really going to hurt him. You don't lose one of the top running backs in the whole game and not have that affect you. So combined with the record where he kind of needs to make up some ground and losing his best player, it's still possible. He still does have a decent amount of points scored for him, but I think that's going to be really hard to replace and kind of make up for that.
So I went a different direction with number 10. I went actually with Brandon at number 10.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, I mean, he's 4-4, but of the 4-4 teams, he's got the lowest points, I think, scored besides you. But I mean, look at his points against. It looks like he's got lucky in a few matches. He has the second least points against them. And I mean, again, same thing. Sam Darnold started out super hot, and now he's come back down to earth. Baker Mayfield. And other than that, he's got a bunch of young wide receivers that, I mean, week by week they might pop up, but I don't know if it's gonna not bloop, 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 bring him to the championship at all. I just
Okay.
don't see it as competing very good.
I like it. I
Sorry.
like that the analysis I think is really interesting there. That's cool. Cool to see a difference there. For number 9 for me, coming in the same record as Chris there, also, or excuse me, as Johan and Aaron, also 3-5. As I was kind of putting this together, maybe I didn't rank Chris high enough, to be honest. I think his lineup can be really strong at full strength. He's got Justin Herbert, who's actually had a really bad last couple of weeks. I think like Herbert has been like insanely good. He's probably one of the best like dynasty assets quarterback wise, just because of how young and good and good he is. Also on a good offensive team, but he's had a rough handful of weeks. But he also has Aaron Jones. He's got Mixon. He's got Evans. He's got Brandon Ayuk, who I think should be hitting his stride here if he kind of bounces back. I think Chris probably truly could beat anyone in the league on like any given week if his players are popping off. And like, of course, you can say that about any team, but like Chris does have like high top end talent. And it's just kind of his record here is kind of holding him back a little bit at 3-5. But if he snuck into the playoffs, he could potentially make some noise. So I've got him coming in at number 9.
I also have Chris at number 9, kind of the same points that you hit on, but I don't necessarily think like you were saying, he might be higher. I think nine's actually the perfect spot for him. He does got a couple good pieces in Mixon and Jones, but a lot. I mean, I'm going to keep saying with my rankings, I really looked at the quarterback situation since they are the premium scorers in the points. And he's got Matt Ryan sitting at his second quarterback, and Jared Goff, I just don't think is going to do it for him. But I also think nine's a good spot for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing. I mean, he's got those guys like Evans or Allen, and maybe if AU comes into it, but they could pop off easily each week and, like you said, give him one. But overall, I don't think he's got a championship team this year.
Mm-hmm. Cool. We're coming in real close here on all these. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Number 8, and I've got them basically staying exactly the same. Very interesting. He was number 8 last time, staying the same. 2-2 before. Now he's 4-4. He's just Mr. 500. I've got Lee. I think that what is Lee's situation here? So he's had a lot of injuries. Even Sterling Shepard got hurt this evening, like while right before we recorded this on Monday Night Football. Have to go through his whole roster here, but his roster is definitely kind of littered with injuries. His points scored for him are a little bit low, so I even feel that even though he is 4-4, I feel like he's probably the weakest 4-4 team. I'm going to give him a little bit of an edge here over these 3-5 teams just because they have to make up a lot of ground. But I just feel like his team is just okay, and just kind of in the middle of the road. Like it could make the playoffs, right? You're in striking distance when you're at number 8, but that's where I've got him. I've got him at 8.
Yeah, I also had Lee at 8. And actually, I had Chris above Lee at first, but then I switched it just because of the extra win he's already got under his belt. But I mean, he's got some big problems at running back. Gibson hasn't done anything since he's gotten hurt, and Fournette's, on Brady's team. But other than that, I mean, he's got Alex Collins. It looks like Gaskin, who hasn't done much, so he doesn't really have good running back depth. And like you said, he's had really bad luck this year with his injuries.
He
So
he
I
did have
think,
a great pickup with what's his name? DeErnest Johnson. That was interesting,
oh
and
yeah,
he definitely popped off 2 weeks ago. Kind of came back to earth here, but we'll see how long that potentially could last. Gaskin,
oh, Kareem Hunt's supposed to be back in a few weeks, right? And then Dearner should be out of it, correct?
but yeah, potentially so. Potentially so. I mean, they might sprinkle him in there a little bit more since he had done well, and of course they want to keep Hunt, maybe more fresh. But yeah, we'll have to see on that. It's an okay team. He's got Pitts. Pitts finally started doing well. He had a good 2-game stretch there, week 5 against the Jets. Then he had a bye week. Then week 7 against Miami. So Pitts kind of finally came online there. But yeah, I just don't think he has the full roster from top to bottom to be able to make a deep run.
Yeah, I
Antonio
agree.
Gibson, very disappointing on the season. Where's he at right now? Running back 19. That's not where you
Yeah,
wanted Gibson. I tried to trade for Gibson at the beginning of the year, and he was like, absolutely not. And I feel great about that. So, yeah.
I'm in the same, but I tried to get Gibson for him as well, and I mean Gibson was being hyped up as CMC. That's what Ron Rivera was supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't necessarily panned out.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, a big riser here, all the way from number 11. Last time I did this, he's gone 3-1 since then, brings him up to 4-4, and he's just been, I'd say, the surprise of this second quarter of the season here. So got Jeremy here at number 7. He's got a young team. He has been putting up the points lately. He actually scored the third most this week as he's picking up his fourth win, and he is picking up a win against Anthony as well. He's got a lot of things kind of coming online. So he's got Fields, Justin Fields, who started to have a couple decent games. He got Mooney, so he's got Jeremy and I joke around about it. When one of your players scores, I'm sure you guys notice this if you have the Sleeper app notifications, right? When one of your guys scores or makes a big play, you get one of those notifications. Since I traded him Mooney, now he gets the double notifications anytime it's a big play to Mooney or a touchdown to Mooney. So we're just all in celebrating the double notifications Fields to Mooney. But that's coming online. Trey Lance, hopefully, I think will eventually kind of take over that role for Garoppolo. Was this his last start? Is that what they were saying? Is Lance coming back? I'm not sure about the news on that.
I mean, I don't. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. I don't know why you're gonna sit him for Trey Lance.
I
I
mean,
feel like,
it's his job. I mean, it's his role for the future. It's just when do they want to go to him?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Jimmy always finds a way to win. I'm just a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. Maybe I'm a little biased there, but
Yeah, I think that they see that Jimmy's okay, but Trey Lance has a much higher ceiling, if that makes sense, right? But he also has a much lower floor than Jimmy. Like Jimmy is just kind of steady ho hum, like which you can win with, but Trey Lance, if he's firing on all cylinders there, he's just kind of a little bit more of a special, dynamic player. But we'll see. I've got him in at number 7. Again, he's made some huge strides. We were kind of leaving him for dead last time I did these rankings, and huge riser there. What did you have him ranked at, Zach?
I got Jeremy actually as number. Oh wait, I think I'm missing somebody. Hold on one second. 12, 11. Oh no, I do. I have him ranked as number 5 or
Oh,
number
wow.
6. Number 6. I have him
Okay.
ranked one. I actually have Johan at number 7.
Hmm.
I think Johan. I mean, you talked about him a little bit earlier. Derek Henry went out, but he's still got like Michael Carter just went off. He's been getting a lot more carries recently. Johan's got a really good team. I actually debated ranking him all the way as fourth, but I feel like with fantasy, it just when it's not your year, it's not your year, and it's just not his year, man. Every week he just keeps getting points against them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I got him at number 7, and yeah, I got Jeremy actually at number 6.
I see. So yeah, we're pretty close there. And either way, it's a huge increase in the standings for Jeremy. So that interesting, right? Does Jeremy think about some win now moves? He's got a little bit of a younger team compared to some of the other ones. So like, as far as like that dynasty perspective, right? He is in a little bit better of a role than other people, right? He's got a team that's competing now, and it's young, and he's got some assets. So interesting to see if Jeremy wants to cash in some assets and kind of go for it a little bit more aggressively. Very cool.
Yeah, he's got those young wide receivers for days on his team. CeCe Lamb, DK,
Hmm.
Mooney. I mean, he's going to be next year. I think he's going to be a team to reckon with easily, especially if Cam Akers comes back healthy.
He's got Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's probably
Uh,
with the injuries, he's number 3 running back on the season. He's young, with the injuries to, CMC and, some of the other guys or whatever. You might say he's number 3 points, but he might be the number 1 dynasty running back just in terms of like points plus youth. So Jeremy's one to watch, I think. Very very interesting. Moving up to number 6 here, also in at 4-4 on the season. It's a bit of a drop from him. One seed down from last time I did this, because he's gone. Brandon has gone 1-3 since I did these rankings last time, so he's moving in the wrong direction. So he's 4-4. I mean, he's going for it hardcore, right? He does have a strong strong starting lineup, like if it's at full strength, Najee Harris, Godwin, Devonta Smith. He just got Judy back, so I think that'll give him a nice boost. If Darnold can kind of turn it around, that was the thing for him at the beginning of the season. That probably helped him get to that 3-1. which was, he had everybody healthy. He had Darnold going off, and then Darnold kind of came back to earth. So I would say Brandon's kind of like Chris's team in the sense where it's like he could probably beat anyone on any given week, like given the caliber of his roster, but a little bit more in the middle road there at 4-4 for me.
Yeah, that's why I ranked him. I had him what at 10th and stuff. Yeah, I had Brandon at 10th.
Hmm.
He just, yeah, Sam Darnold. I think he rode that to start with, but I mean, again, he's got like these young guys, Judy Smith. That same thing. Any given week, he could pop off, but I just don't see him as a contender this year, even though he's 4-4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And number six, I actually had Jeremy.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Perfect. So we talked about all those teams. So number five, I'm giving myself the number five seed. Everybody thought it was a joke last time when I ranked myself six when I was 2-2, but I feel like I've earned this spot. I mean, maybe I could be 5, 6, or 7. Like hard to say. Those are all 4-4, but I think my team's okay. I'll be getting Saquon back here in a couple of weeks, I hope. Jamar Chase has been fantastic. Jefferson, I think I have the best wide receivers in the league. I would say by far, actually. Well, maybe not by far because I think there are some strong squads out there for sure. But in terms of like dynasty wide receivers, like Chase plus Jefferson, Pittman had a great game this week. I've just got a lot of good young guys. Not even to mention like Jacoby Myers, Van Jefferson. It really kind of comes down to quarterback for me. Like, if Tua has a good game, and I know Trevor Lawrence is the chosen one, he needs to start having some good games here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I could potentially make the playoffs if I keep winning here. I had a hard start of the schedule here, but those games are out of the way. I think I'll have a winning record, and we'll see if I can get one of these lower seeds and sneak into the playoffs.
So yeah, I mean, personally, I think Jeremy's probably got the better young wide receivers than you with CeeDee Lamb and DK Metcalf. But I mean, Jamar Chase and Jefferson are pretty good. But I also have Jack number five actually, which might draw some drama in the league. But I do think you got a really good team. It's nice that you have Devontae Booker and you also have Boston Scott, who seems to be filling in for Miles Sanders this past week, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Wasn't he the lead?
Yeah. I picked up both those handcuffs. I didn't start Scott, but he actually scored a touchdown, or he scored two touchdowns. He had like a decent game. So trying to be strategic and get myself those handcuffs. Should have started him over Salvan Ahmed. Uh,
But
he's from
but yeah, I
UW.
mean,
You can never count on anybody from UW. So
if you get if you get Barkley back healthy, and I mean Sanders isn't that great, but he's decent for a number two back. But if Barkley comes back healthy, man, I think Lawrence is going to keep figuring out, keep doing better and better as season go on. And Tua's looked great in the few games he's played. So now that he's healthy, I mean, you got two solid quarterbacks, some great wide receivers, and if Barkley's healthy, I definitely think you can make a run at it, 100%.
Tua just needs to not play Buffalo, but he's got both of those games out of the way. He got hurt against Buffalo in week 2, sat out a couple of weeks, and then this week he only scored 15 points. Not a disaster, but he was all over the place. He had 2 turnovers, and Buffalo's just too freaking good. So I'm glad those games are out of the way, but we'll see. I feel like I can I can compete. Coming in at number 4 for me, I've got Anthony. One spot drop for me at 5-3. I think for this, my thought process or my thought process is that he's dealing with a lot of injuries. He has probably the best, or maybe it's a 1A 1B situation in terms of like top end when healthy, best possible starting lineup you can throw out there, right? He's got CMC, he's got Mahomes, who's been Mahomes has been underachieving. CMC's been hurt. Just even like Tyreek Hill has been kind of underachieving like this year or whatever. But if all of those things come back at the same time and kind of hit at the same time, right, this is the team that can score above 200 points on any given week and everything. So he'll be in the playoff hunt. He did drop a spot, but I don't think it is really going to matter, to be honest, because come playoff time, if all of those things are firing on all cylinders, he's a top threat for sure.
Yeah, so With number four, I actually went with myself. Trying to be a little bit modest, not
He's
overrate
humble, so humble.
myself. But I think I got a decent chance of making the playoffs. I definitely got some injury issues. I mean, if Thomas can come back and Galladay can come back, and as long as I play my right running back matchups, I think I have a decent chance. I mean, I got two of the best quarterbacks in the league and the best tight end, so it's really my wide receivers and then choosing the right matchup, and I think I can definitely make a run at it.
Zach, should we make it? Should do you need a, young wide receiver? That's all I've got. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe we can make a deal.
I mean, the funny thing with my running backs, so I like traded for three of them, but I have five running backs, and they're all ranked between like 15 and 28 or something like that. So I
Hmm.
just got to pick and choose,
Yeah.
and hope McCaffrey doesn't come back.
Ooh, you got that dark horse, coming in to reinforce everything for the playoff run. Michael Thomas. You counting
I
on
know.
something big there?
Maybe my number one draft pick will finally do something for me. Waiting a
Oh,
year and a half.
oh my goodness. That's wild.
I know.
Yeah, so moving on here, I've got you at number three, so I think maybe we've got these flip-flopped perhaps. But also sitting at 5 and 3, so basically just swapped spots with Anthony here, and I'm gonna agree with everything you said. I think you've made some really, really good moves, right? You had Elijah Mitchell. Did you draft him or did you pick him up? How did you get this guy?
No, Mitchell was my thank you, Johnny.
Thank you,
I
Johnny. Okay, swap there.
traded Daniel Jones for Mitchell and Hubbard.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, at the time, Mitchell was still coming back. I mean, technically, we didn't know if he would actually be the starter since Trey Sermon did good. But I mean, yeah, since he traded him to me, he started both games and just, I think, 100 yards over each game. He looks like the full on guy down in San Francisco.
It's a weird one because I mean he can look like that, and then the 49ers running back situation is so fluid. Like it wouldn't surprise me one bit if then Sermon did that the next game, and then Mitchell does not. Like it's just so unpredictable.
Right.
It's just crazy. But I mean
It is also
so far it's hit
important
for you.
with Mitchell is that he's not getting any receiving because of Hasty.
Hmm.
Hasty like receiving back there. So I don't know if Mitchell's even got any catches. I haven't paid that close of attention, but
Hmm.
yeah, he's definitely getting any of those PPR points.
Yeah. Yep. And then the rest of your roster, right? Just like you mentioned, you've got Kelsey, probably the best tight end. Um, you've got Allen and Brady. Those could easily be top two scoring options any given week. Not even to mention Stephon Diggs. I think you don't have the youngest team, but I think that you've got a good. This is like a good example of just like the veteran NFL team who is just like super steady, and you got to bring your A game to beat them. Like you're just very steady. You've got good players like from top to bottom, and you're not an easy out for sure. So kudos to you for putting that team together. I think it's one to contend with for sure.
Yep.
Coming in at number two, dropping one spot, dropping from the top spot. I've got Sam, so he's at 6 and 2 right now. Extremely strong roster. I'm knocking him down one spot here. Really not anything that Sam has done. It's more so just been how strong, of course, number one for me. I've got Jasper. I'll talk about him in a second. It's really mostly just been how strong Jasper's team has been looking. I mean, that's why I moved Sam down one spot. But Sam, again, extremely strong starting roster. He did just lose Jameis, but he's got depth. He's got, strong, top end players at every single position. He's really kind of looking to shore things up. He made a huge win now move with the Kyler Murray trade. He's in win now mode, and he's definitely a contender. We'll see if he gets one of those top two seeds with the bye. He's got a handful of weeks left, but yeah, number two is a good spot to be.
Yeah, I also have Sam right behind Jasper. I think pretty much the same thing. I really like his team. Jasper's also got a very strong team, but I mean, he's got Murray's a beast. Hurts has been insane this season to start the year. So, I mean, all three of who I have left, Anthony, Sam, and Jasper, I think all have good teams. But yeah, I think Sam at two for you is a good ranking.
Yep.
I would agree.
All right, and then
And just
last.
so
Uh huh.
for I have Sam at number three for me.
Okay, so Sam was number three. Who was your number two? Anthony?
I got Jasper at number two, and I got the reigning champ at number one,
Oh my
Anthony.
goodness. Paying homage to the reigning champ. I respect that. I respect
I've,
that.
I
He
mean,
reigns supreme until someone takes him down.
I feel this is my argument with for Anthony at number one. When we're talking about if he can make the playoffs and his people come back healthy, his team's gonna be insane to beat, man. You got
Hmm.
Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift's been like the third best, fourth best running back. Tyreek Hill could go off. Deontay Johnson, and then you still got on his bench Calvin Ridley if he comes back from his mental issues. Darren Waller, like I think of all those three, he's definitely got the best team that can win it. Because McCaffrey, all the thing with Anthony's team is all those players could easily put up like 35, 40 points in top 200, like you said. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
he's if healthy, he's got this serious team. So I
Yeah.
definitely got him ranked one.
Yeah. No, those are all great points for sure. I think it's just a question of, are they all back at the same time? Are they all firing kind of at, the top of their range all at the same time? And maybe he deserves to be in that top spot. I love the respect. Pay homage to the champ. I think that's awesome. For me, I've got Jasper at number one, and it really just basically is, kind of similar to your team, just super strong top to bottom. It's that veteran roster. He has the pickup of the year, picked up August 26th. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that was before games started. Cordarrelle Patterson. He's the pickup of the year. He's the 32-year-old running back, wide receiver, flex player, and he's just lighting people up. Number eight running back. Um, and you basically get him for free. He's got Zeke, Eckler, you know, he's just solid everywhere. Um, Burrow, Stafford. That's just it's tough to beat. I do like your argument in the sense of like, is Anthony at full strength, healthy? You know, could he take Jasper down? He could. He could. I think he could. So could Sam. It'll be competitive. I think at the beginning of the year, I really was thinking that it was kind of like a foregone conclusion that it was probably Anthony's to lose. And because of the way the season's kind of unfolded and some of the transactions that have happened and everything, I would actually think and argue that it's much more open than I thought it was going to be, which is actually really cool and great for the league, I think. It should be an exciting next handful of regular season games and should be an exciting playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Jasper. So the reason I did Jasper too is he's got some of the players like Cordell, like Mike Williams, that they haven't been elite for long. It's kind of like this for sure that they could potentially drop off at the end,
Hmm.
which is what I would be afraid of. But it's insane how deep Jasper's team is. I mean, you got like his starting wide receivers this week were Patterson, Williams, and Cooper, and then you have McLaren as your flex, but you still have on the bench Devontae Adams. Like what?
Hmm.
He's like the
Hmm.
number one wide receiver last year, wasn't he? Easily.
Yeah.
And he's just a player right now because he's hurt or
Hmm.
because he got COVID. That's insane.
Hmm.
But yeah, Jasper teams definitely wins the depth. But again, overall, if it's head to head, healthy versus healthy, I think that Anthony would take him down.
I think it's interesting. No matter how much we think, one team has the edge over the other or whatever, there's still a handful of seasons left, right? Our trade deadline, or handful of regular season weeks left. Our trade deadline is the end of week 12, so that is 4 weeks left. And I think there's still some moves to be made, right? When we look at some of these teams that are ranked kind of near the bottom, right? Is there a move Johnny wants to make for an asset that could be a win now player for one of these top three or four, even top six team, right? We talked about Aaron. Maybe he trades Dalvin Cook because he's not in this win now window. Maybe someone needs some running back help, and they could use Dalvin Cook for some picks or a young player who's going to develop later or something. Looking at Johan's team, right? If Johan can't quite make it after he loses Henry, does he trade a win now player like Adam Thielen or possibly, Daryl Henderson is a really, really good example with like Cam Akers coming back, but Henderson has the job this year. He could be a league winner. So I feel like there's actually league winning transactions that can and possibly could still be made. So it's it's not a done deal. These rosters are not set in stone, and I think we've been in a little bit of like a lull trade wise. I think we had a bajillion trades at the start of the season, and then kind of early on, everybody's kind of riding things out right now. And I think we're about to see a bunch more trades as teams really decide, like, okay, am I going for it? Am I shipping things off? It'll be interesting to see this next month.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, you look at the standings and like, I mean, I want these standings to go through. I typed out real quick. We got four teams at 4-4, three teams at 3-5, and two teams at 5-3. So you got nine teams there, all just two games apart. So
Hmm.
it's insane how close it is. And like, I mean, for instance, you got all those wide receivers. You could easily pawn one off to try and get a running back to shore that up. There's definitely a lot of moves I think are going to happen. And when does the trade deadline end?
So it's the end of week 12. So it'll be, I
Oh, we
guess,
still got 4 more weeks.
4 more weeks. And
Yeah.
I think in the league chat, I'd have to scroll up and figure it out. I don't want to misspeak on here, but right, we've got the playoff situation figured out. So it'll be a 2-week championship, as it was previously. First round bye for the top two seeds, and I want to say that starts week 14, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but yeah, playoffs are starting around week 14 or so. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting to see, and I think it'll go down the wire. And whoever wins it, I think it won't. It will not have come easy, that's for sure. And I think they'll have definitely overcome some obstacles and some barriers too, right? If Anthony wins it, he overcomes a lot of injuries and adversity. If Jasper's barely even made any trades or moves or anything. This is just Jasper just being smarter than everybody else. He just drafts a freaking baller team and just kicks all of our asses.
I
Um,
mean, you've said it before. I've played a few leagues with Jasper, and for some reason, he always does seem to do super, super well. It's crazy.
He does do super super well. In other leagues though, I haven't seen him take down the championship. He's always in that top, 2 or 3 or something like that. But I'm sure he has, because we've been playing for a long time. But I'm not recalling one right now. I know in the LC league, which many of us are in or on or know about, his name's not on the trophy, but his dad's name's on the trophy. And his little brother Jesse's name's on the trophy, but not Jasper's. So maybe this will be one of the first. And this would be the one to win. It's the bigger prize pot, and also the whole dynasty factor as well. This would be a good one to cash in on.
Yeah, the dynasty factor is exciting because there's a few teams that it's interesting to see where hopefully we can stick around for the next 3 to 5 years, but to see where some of these teams are at. Like I think Johan's team in particular, he's got a lot of old veteran guys. Um, so he's gonna have to be making some moves or get some good drafts picks. We all know what you did, get in the 30 first round draft picks next season.
Yes,
Which
sir.
speaking, it's I need to know. I cannot wait to see what you do with all those because I think you got 6 of them, 7 of them. So you're gonna have to be dropping your bench like crazy.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, not to go into a deep dive about my specific team or my situation. I mean, the rosters are deep. I easily have, 4 or 5 players who don't necessarily need to be on a roster. They could just as easily be, on the free agent pile. So, I mean, I can drop a couple of them. Am I trying to make some moves? Do I want to make some moves? Absolutely. People send me some offers. I want to make some deals. Except for Anthony. Anthony, don't send me any deals. It's just a waste of both of our time. But I mean, I'm ready to make some things happen. Very excited.
So I mean, you've made a lot of deals. Would you say you've declined more deals than you've made?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think that some of the deals that I've made, a really good example with like Brandon. Brandon and I have made a couple of trades here, and got to give it to Brandon. Like Brandon and I think it's like less about like wanting to get a deal accepted and more about just like hype. We just like love certain players, and we just like want to like destroy not like destroy, but just like we just want to like hammer out a really like strong deal or something. Like Brandon and I will literally like work these deals out and these details for like days before it finally happens, or in actually many cases like we've been chatting kind of recently, and we chat for days and then nothing happens because we just don't do it. um So, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, I've had those deals with Brandon, and then, Jeremy will just never trade me CeeDee Lamb. I keep trying to get CeeDee Lamb, but he won't trade him to me, and then other people are at different spots. But, I think it's just interesting because I think that we're at kind of like that pivotal spot in the season right now where, now time is not on people's side. Now people really need to decide, like, are they going for it? Are they not going for it? So some of those teams that, it's not their year, and there's 6 or 7 or 8 of them probably. This is not their year. They might be thinking about shipping things off. So whether that's to me or whether that's to Zach, loading up for a playoff run, you're not flying under my radar, Zach. That's for damn sure. Number three, maybe could be higher. So we'll see.
I'm making,
It'll be
I'm
interesting.
I'm making all those small moves, the ones that are flying under the radar. Again, getting Mitchell, getting Hubbard, getting Pollard. All these little moves will add up. Just fun.
Is there one player on your team that you feel is valuable that you would move, that you would be looking for, that you'd be trying to move, right? Someone who has some value, right? Who's Zach
I mean,
trying to ship off?
I'll trade anybody as long as I feel like the value's worth it. I've had you hit me up for Allen a few times, and I think I told you like 4 first round draft picks for him.
Hmm.
Brandon's hit me up for Allen too, but yeah, I mean,
Would
I
you
actually
trade Josh Allen for 4 first round draft picks while you're in the midst of a championship run, knowing that that would almost certainly take you out of it?
Oh, would I do it right now? No, I would
Hmm.
need like not even close. That's the thing with me. It's like I don't really feel like I should trade anyone because I do have that potential to make the run. So if anything, I'm looking to buy, but I mean, I don't really have that much to sell to buy, if that makes sense.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I mean it puts you in a bind when you're square in the compete zone, right? It's like, yeah, I could trade, just like you said, I could trade Josh Allen for like 4 first round picks, but that could cost me $800 in a championship. You know what I mean? So yeah, those four first round picks like could be as good, but hard to say, right? Josh Allen's the number 3 quarterback on the season, so
Yeah, isn't Brady number one?
uh, oh my God, yeah, Brady's number 1. Took the
And let me
mantle
just
from
say this:
Kyler Murray. Oh my
I
goodness.
offered Brady to a few people. I can't remember exactly who. I think I offered him to Lee for Kirk Cousins and someone else. Maybe Kirk Cousins, Brady. Anyways, I tried to sell Brady a few times this offseason, and thank you to everyone who said no.
Oh my goodness. He's probably going to play another. You got to figure he's going to play at least another year or two. I don't think he retires at the end of this year, do you?
I mean, not if he wins another Super. Well, actually, that if he wins a Super Bowl, I could see him quitting on top, just because that would be a beast move. But I mean, no, he's doesn't he have more passing touchdowns already than he had like through any other season or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I know his record-breaking season with Randy Moss was insane, so that might be an outlier here. But I mean, he's having week one,
And
31, week two, 34, week three, 29 points. Week four was a dud against the Patriots. Then he scored 42 against my Dolphins. Oh my goodness.
I
20
mean, he's
points
had
against Philly. He's just insane.
3, 4, 5 weeks with 4+ touchdowns.
He's just insane.
Yeah,
Maybe that's that win now move. Someone go get Brady. Someone go get Brady. No, I, I think you got to keep him. He's like the
yeah,
exact player where you whatever trade you do like won't make sense. You just have to keep him.
yeah. Everyone, because of his age, no one wanted to give me much for him, so I just held him in. Might end up being the best move I made.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Cool.
Well, this has been a pleasure. I think we have a lot of agreement and some interesting differences on our rankings here. But I mean, overall, I think we can agree that it's shaping up to be an interesting season, and there's a lot more action to be done over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Especially once one of those teams goes on like a 2, 3 game losing streak, time to sell, guys.
Time to sell. We're just if you're thinking about it right now, if you're one of these teams at 3-5 or something like that, one more loss could be the thing where you officially say like, look, this isn't the year. I'm close to being mathematically eliminated or whatever. So I think we'll be seeing some deals real soon. That is for sure. Well, on behalf of Zach, I will say thank you, and I'll get this posted. And have a good night, everyone. We'll talk to you later.